Hi. So I hadn't set out to sort of record a Chinese drama review. In fact, I didn't plan to have a Chinese drama channel, and I really have serious doubts whether I could pump out content regularly. But I really like Mysterious Lotus Casebook, and I feel that, well, the internet should hear about it because this is a really good drama. It is so good that it had an 8.1 rating on China's Daopan, and my drama list gives it a 9.0 rating. So that's pretty really good. So just a note before we continue, I do speak some Mandarin. However, that my natural Chinese dialect is Hokkien, which is a dialect from Fujian province, and on top of that, kind of like a Southeast Asian version of it. So I'm Malaysian. I Hokkien sounds nothing like Mandarin. So my Mandarin pronunciation may be off sometimes and the intonation. So do forgive me, Mandarin speakers, if I get it wrong, but I do speak some Mandarin and I do understand Chinese dramas and Chinese. So as you will. So now let's get back to our story. So Mysterious Lotus Casebook or Lianhua Lo is about basically three men who get together to solve cases. But it doesn't start out that way, of course. As a background, 10 years ago, there was this hero called Xiang, and he was the leader of the Siku sect. And he was this really gifted swordsman, undefeatable at the top of his martial arts world at the tender age of 18 or something like that. But anyway, 10 years ago, he disappeared along with his arch nemesis, Di Fei Sheng. They battled out in the sea somewhere and disappeared. 10 years later, we see a physician called Li Lianhua. We follow him on his adventures until he bumped into a rich young man called Fang Duoping, or Fang Duoping. I don't know whether I'm correct, pronouncing it correctly, but Duoping basically means always sick. So his name literally means I'm always sick, which is really funny. But eventually he ends up being called Xiao Bao, sort of like a nickname. I digress. So Fang Duoping basically believes that Li Lianhua is a bit of a charlatan, and Xiao Bao, let's call him Xiao Bao. Poor guy is being called Duoping all the time. Xiao Bao basically thinks that he's a swindler out to trick people, and he has these dreams of becoming a detective of the Baichan court. The Baichan court is sort of like a splinter of the original Siku sect, which Li Xiangyi headed. So okay, he ends up following Lilian Hua around just to just to prove to the Bai Chan court that he's a fake lah. But he ends up, being friends with him, and they go on mystery, solving cases together. And eventually, they bump into Di Fei Sheng. So Di Fei Sheng, like I said, is the evil cult leader, so to speak. In Wuxia worlds, there's a good sect and there's a bad sect, but all the time, we know that nothing is that simple, right? So Di Fei Sheng is Li Xiangyi's arch nemesis. So unlike a lot of people, Di Fei Sheng recognized Li Lianhua almost immediately. And well, it's a bit complicated, and that this is spoiler territory, but basically, he wants to battle it out with Li Xiangyi again. All right, so they end up being a weird trio that go from places to place solving cases, basically. It is actually more complicated than that. Basically, these cases is Li Lianhua's way of trying to solve the major problem that he's been trying to solve for over 10 years, which is the death of his senior. Now, if you have not guessed it already, Li Lianhua is Li Xiangyi. These cases all tie up together, and eventually they will lead to reveal more and more secrets. And basically, we all know that in the end, the story is more complex than it originally is. And it leads to lots of secrets being revealed, a lot of heartbreaks and stuff like that. Okay, now that we've got the plot out of the way, um, let me tell you about what I like. Okay, I really like number one. Number one thing I love about this show was the writing, of course. You know, a lot of C dramas, a lot of times you have to put up with fillers, uneven pacing. Sometimes the pacing can be really fast, then suddenly slow down, and it'd be like lots of episodes where there were a lot of unnecessary characters doing unnecessary things, you know. No such thing with Mysterious Lotus Casebook. Every episode is something that you need to pay attention to. This is not some drama that you can put in the background while you do housework, basically. You really need to pay attention because every word spoken, every clue on the screen, or even every flicker of expression on the actor's face is like, you know, amazing. You got to like pay attention because it means something. To which I have to mention Cheng Yi. You know, Cheng Yi is the actor who plays Li Lianhua, and he is just simply superb in this one. If you have watched shows like Immortal Samsara and Love and Redemption, Cheng Yi is probably not a stranger to you. He is a stranger to me. So, you know, I was just blown away by his acting. You know, he could act with his eyes and his face, and this is a very not typical role for him. In fact, it's not a very typical role for a lot of Chinese drama actors, if you tell me. Li Lianhua is someone who is like, uh, at the first glance, very carefree, very irreverent, but he has very deep layers. And the great thing about this show is that you get to explore every layer as the show goes on, episode by episode. We will discover deeper and deeper layers and meanings, and that's such a delight when you have an actor like Cheng Yi portraying some a character this complex. That said, the actors who portray Fang Tuoping and Di Fei Sheng is also really great. In fact, they were perfectly casted. Okay, many laugh out loud moments with all of them, and I wish we had more moments between the trio. And this is one of the rare Chinese dramas where I wish there were like 80 episodes. You know, 40 episodes just flew by like that. It was just so well done, you know. Another thing I like is, of course, the sets. You know, the sets are amazing. Uh, I have a tendency to dislike sets that are a bit fake, over the top. You know, like 仙侠 dramas. 仙侠 is like sort of like about gods and spirits and stuff like that. I'm very much a Wuxia lover. You know, I like shows like, you know, stories like by Jin Yong and Kulong, like Legends of the Condor Heroes or The Smiling Proud Wanderer. So Mysterious Lotus Casebook really fulfilled my thirst for this, okay? Because it's been such a long time since I saw classic Wuxia on our screens, okay? Um, the second thing I love is the fight scenes. The fight scenes are so amazing. You know, I've kind of like long resigned myself to the fact that um, all I could ever see from Chinese dramas is finger food. I call it finger food, you know, where you wave your hands about and then sparkly things come out. Yeah, I thought that's just all we're gonna get, you know, like Blood of Youth kind of martial arts, which I really do not like, you know, and I just sort of like, "Ugh, you know, whatever, let's get this over with." But in Lianhua Lo, it's Mysterious Lotus Casebook. It's so beautiful, you know. Again, Cheng Yi really does it so well. He's really gifted with wire work and making the kung fu moves and all that. He literally embodies the beauty and grace of Li Xiangyi. You know, when you see him in those action scenes, you know that he's Li Xiangyi. That Li Xiangyi really deserves that title of greatest swordsman ever. You know, so kudos to the action team. Apparently, they got a team from Hong Kong to really choreograph the fight scene. So, and the whole production took 4 years. Wow, a drama that didn't take like 3 months to shoot. Imagine that when you call quality to that. When it comes to reviews, I try not to impose my point of view on the viewers. Okay, I try to help you make up your own mind. I have a very specific taste. Like I said, a lot of popular dramas I do not like. Like I do not like, Love Between Fairy and Devil. Everybody loved it. I'm like, why? That said, I recognize that everybody has such different tastes. I mean, like Mysterious Lotus Casebook, you may hate it. Okay, so I'm going to tell you whether you like it or not based on these factors. Now, you will like Mysterious Lotus Casebook if you love classic Wuxia, like anything by Gulong or Jin Yong, like Legends of the Condor Heroes or the Smiling Prop Wanderer, even the more recent, the Ingenious one. If you like these shows, you will most probably like Mysterious Lotus Casebook. The closest equivalent to this show is Ancient Detective or The Strange Tales of Tang Dynasty. But I would say this show is far more deeper than those shows. Those shows remind me of CSI, like they go from place to place to solve cases kind of thing. This is more epic, if I can say so myself. You also like this show if you like great acting. I know you're probably thinking, oh, who doesn't like great acting, right? If you're the sort of person that really treasures good acting, you will love this to death because it's been a while since I saw such good acting on C-drama screens, basically. Original soundtrack was something that grew on me. I didn't like it at first, but later when I listened to it again, especially after I watched a few episodes, I realized that, man, these songs really embody the spirit of Jianghu a lot. It's all about heroism, bravery, courage. The singers did a good job. Every time I listen to the songs, I always think about the fight scenes and Li Xiangyi's spirit and courage and all that. Now, you probably won't like Mysterious Lotus Casebook if you prefer romance to be a central plotline in your stories, right? So I will straight out tell you that romance is not the central theme or plot line at all. Li Xiangyi does not have a paramour. Well, he kind of does, but it's not about him trying to find the best to be with his loved one. The story is not like that at all. It's all about honor, courage, doing the best you can, living, rising above bitterness and hatred. If you're looking for a epic love story a la, you know, Love Between Fairy and Devil or Ashes of Love, it's not that kind of drama. For once, it's not Xianxia, so it's Wuxia, which is very different. And okay, so if you like classic stories or chivalry, or you love going to adventures with heroes in the Jianghu, you will like Mysterious Lotus Casebook. So what's my rating for this show? Really, definitely high. In fact, I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10. This is the highest I've ever given any show. I'm very particular, This is the first time a drama came together so well for me. It's almost perfect. Ending to me is perfect. Perfect for Li Xiangyi, perfect for the story, perfect for what he wanted to achieve. Okay. And it is best if you watch it through iQIYI, the app, because there's a special episode after the final episode that sort of makes things clearer and better, so to speak. What do I think about Mysterious Lotus Casebook? Well, you should watch it. It's really good show. This review is probably not going to do it any justice, but it's a one of a kind, and you should give it a try.